Well, good morning again, guys. Back to the K1200. Today, it's been a couple of weeks because I've been waiting for this. So today we're going to get rid of these and try these new grips. They're the squishy top. I'll get them out of the bag. They look like the same I've got on the R1150. Yeah, pretty similar, I think. Must be a standard BMW issue. These cost me all of $12 plus $1 shipping from China, I think. But anyway, they'll be better than these ghastly, ugly things. So that's today's thing. Now, these do have heated grips. I've not been able to confirm that they're working. My theory is they don't, but I'm going to try and get these off fairly, I guess, as best I can without trying to damage any of the heating coil underneath, just in case there is something there that can be repaired. So I'll get a knife and we'll try and get this off. Right, so you can just see I've just started to cut a little bit here. I'll keep cutting this through. I can't see any of the heating element there, but maybe I'm not looking at the right thing yet. I'll keep going and bring you back. Well, I'm making a bit more progress. It's taken me, I don't know, less than a minute. I think that is focus. I think that might be a heating element under there, but until I get to the end, I probably won't tell. I'll get the rest of it off, then we'll come and have a look. Righto, I think we've got, in fact, that'll slide off now. There is a heating element there. We'll test it again. Maybe it just was too thick, this old one. Maybe I wasn't leaving it on long enough. We'll do a bit more experimentation because I can't see any obvious breaks in that, but that doesn't mean it's not faulty somewhere. We'll get the other one off and then we'll see what we can do. Well, 10 seconds later and I've got that one off. Now you can see some of the brown tape there is removed, but the element below it still looks intact. So it might just need a little bit of a, that's broken. But I don't know if the element's in there. We'll check that. If we can sort that out, we will. I might even just turn the elements on and see if I can, without having a grip on it, see if I can feel the heat coming through. So that might be the next test. Right, I've had the accessories on. I even started the bike up, run it for a few minutes. There's no heat coming from either of those. There is a wire going up the inside, and that looks like it's damaged there. I wonder if that's I don't know, it's connectivity. I might try and see what I can do with a multimeter in a minute and see if I can actually do a test on it. And I've got this screw here, don't know what that is. I might take that out and just see if I can remove that and just check the wiring. In the meantime, I have pulled these out of the packaging. One has a larger diameter. I think that's the throttle side, the larger diameter. And I've been told that it's easier to put them on with a air compressor, just to put a bit of air and pop them in. I don't have an air compressor, so I've done this before on other bikes with rubber grips. They are a bit of a pain, but we'll get this wiring checked out before we muck around with any of that. Right, so given that there was no heat to either of them, first thing I went to was fuse. Now for those who don't have a fuse diagram, 2 fuse boxes in these early ones, 4 fuses in each. These pink ones here are 4 amp, and it's this second one from the top is the heated grips. Now I just swapped those two over because you could tell, I don't know if you can, but it was playing up. So fiddle around, swap the 2 fuses, and now with them on, that is toasty warm. I can hardly even hold that. But on this side, nothing. So I'm going to pull this one apart now and see what I get. So with the sun in our eyes, we're going to try and just take this cover off and see if I can get this unit out and see where it goes from there. Alright, I think I know what's going on. So there's the two wires that come down the centre of the handlebar. They come into these two, and the grip has actually got a groove for one. Think of one as positive, one as negative if you like. They then wrap themselves around the handlebar, and you can see the various spaces until effectively they join at this end, and that creates a circuit. So you can think of almost each one of these as a double helix. Positive, negative, or whatever way you want to think about the way. It's technically probably not true, although, you know, the electrons are flowing through the system in somehow. So what you'll find is this one here, if I turn this around and get this one out of the way, the broken one, if I turn that around, that becomes that one. So this one here, the first one I touched, is joined onto that one. This one here, if I rotate it, becomes that one. So as you see, every second one links back to the original two wires. The plan here is if I can get that broken one to connect to that broken one, just short circuit across there, we'll have the same outcome, but I want to make sure I don't bridge and touch that one on the way. Hope I'm making sense. So I think what I'm going to do is put a bit of electrical tape just over this one to protect it, stop any electrical connector getting there, and then see if, rather than trying to join these two together, whether I can just bring that black wire over the top and join it onto there. No idea if it'll work, but probably don't have too much to lose. The only problem I'm going to have is I'm not going to have this one recessed back in, because I'm going to have this problem of getting the grip over the top. So give that a bit of thought as I go. Anyway, short of that, I've got to actually lengthen this wire to connect it back up. So that's the other option. Solder a bit of wire onto that, solder a bit of wire onto that. My soldering skills don't probably have the skill set to be able to do that very neatly without leaving big blobs of solder somewhere. Either way, I'm going to have to do something somewhere. So leave me with it. I'll have a bit of a play and we'll come back when a solution has been found. Hopefully you can see what I'm starting to do. I've peeled this one back a little bit. Just means I won't get heat probably in this section here, because I'm going to bridge this now. What I've done also is I've put electrical tape over the other wire so I don't short circuit when I bring this one over the top. I'm trying to keep this in the recess and bring this wire down to there. Now at the moment it's just sitting underneath. I'll pull that out, but hopefully you can get a bit of a feel for what I'm trying to do. Hopefully you can see that in the finish. So I bridged those two wires as I said. I put the tape down on the first wire, bridged the two wires over. I almost soldered them, but decided that the solder was probably going to melt through the plastic and undo everything I did. So, I've just put a new fuse in, and that is hot, as is that side. So, you little beauty, that has worked. Well, I can't believe that. That's actually working. Very hot. Hopefully it stays hot. And I've only just twisted those wires together and taped them, so how long that will last, I have no idea, but that, my friends, is working. Put that back to level 1. Alright, I'm going to put all this back together. Next job is try and see if I can get rid of that rotten brake line. But actually I've got to put the grips on too. Who knows if that's going to be as easy as it looks. So that's the one that came out. I'm going to pop that one back in. It'll sit a little bit, well, sit a lot flusher, and allow the grip to go over the top. So this one will go in here, just like that. The other one was sticking up, I think, as with most of the other things on this bike. It was done by somebody dodgy. So now put the handlebar back on, and then we'll get those grips on. Well, that literally took 30 seconds each side. I did put a tiny dash of WD-40, just squeezed onto the grips just to let them slide on. The heat is still coming through, although obviously with the thickness of the grips now, they're not as hot, but I think they're still working. So I think I've just got to go and find some more 4 amp plugs to fix the ones that I've used testing this, but it hasn't blown. I've left this on now for a few minutes. So that's that job. I want to do a few little things. I've got to get rid of that brake light. Alright, that'll be the next job. Thought I might have been able to fix the brakes by checking the clearance behind this sensor. You can see here the clearance is between 0.45 and 0.55 of a millimetre. Well, I've taken that out, I've given it a clean, put it back in, put the feeler gauges behind it. It's within that tolerance. It's about 0.48, and yeah, didn't change anything. Did the same with the back, cleaned it. Thought it might have got rid of the brake light. It hasn't. I have to go on to the next thing. I don't think it's anything to do with the actual pressure in the system, because there's pressure of the handle and the foot pedal, so don't know. Next thing is these foot pegs. I've just taken them off. They need reshaping because they do not rotate. That square bit needs rounding off. I'm going to do that with the angle grinder now. The first one ready to go. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap that up for today's work. Still can't get those brakes fixed, but done a few little just tidy up jobs. Didn't bother videoing some of them, just fixing those pegs. Again, they didn't quite fit properly, so I just took the angle grinder to them, got them to fit a bit better. I did clean those sensors on the brakes, but it's not working. But the main thing is I've got those grips fixed, and fixed the heater, which is really great. So that's all for this week. I'll see you, I don't know what I'm going to see you next, but we'll do the registration thing I think next. I think it's ready to register. Even without that fixing that brake light, I think we'll be able to still get it registered. It all works, it's just that brake light comes on every single time. So yeah, off to registration, and I'll see you once I've got it registered.